Hi folks, welcome back. So what's going on in the A-mount system right now? That's very huge and exciting. So Sony has just announced something new for the A-mount system. That is a new ring adapter for the A-mount to E-mount. So mainly, what is this adapter and why is this announcement? So the why is simple. Normally, every 4 years, the flagship for full frame A-mount system, the A90X, whatever you want to call it, actually currently is the A99 Mark II that I have in my hands, has to be renewed and released. So in 2016, in September 2016, was announced this camera as the A99 Mark II, and yeah, this camera is great because it's the 42 megapixel sensor from A7R Mark II, A7R Mark III. It is in between in performance, it is in between the A7R Mark II and the A7R Mark III because yeah, mainly this camera is able to track focus at 12 frames per second with A-mount lenses, so that's huge, I have to say, especially compared to A7R Mark II. No? And for landscape, well, you have the 42 megapixel sensor, so you can imagine that it's awesome. And yeah, so that has passed now 4 years, and we were expecting A99 Mark III. But finally, Sony announced a new ring. Not this one. This one is the LA-EA3. The difference with the new one that is the LA-EA5. Well, they have something common is that there is no translucent mirror here, okay, and the LA-EA5 doesn't have neither this to put, on tripod your ring, but the LA-EA5 has here what is a little screw that is able to drive those legacy AF lenses. That is needed here. I don't know if you can see that, but here there is a screw, and there is normally a screw here, so we can drive the AF system. So that is something that is used on LA-EA4, which is an existing adapter too. The main issue with LA-EA4 is that it has the translucent mirror here, first of all. And secondly is that it has its own phase detect autofocus in it, and this AF system in the ring for LA-EA4 is mainly the one from another A-mount camera, the A65 or A55, and mainly it has 15 AF spots, so that is very useful when you are on the borders and so on. So mainly it's in the center of the sensor, and it is 15.0. Personally, I have always said that at the moment there is no viable route from AA to transition from A-mount system to E-mount system for anybody who is involved in A-mount and has, like me, a lot of legacy Minolta AF lenses. I have always said that it would be better to go for A99 Mark II because clearly that is a flagship and clearly it has all what you need into a camera. Real quick, let's have a look to our sponsor, Toolscape Keepers. Toolscape Keepers is a premium landscape photography service on demand all over the world. So if you are a landscape photographer, subscribe to Toolscape Keepers, start to find your assignments, and start to send your quotes. On the other hand, if you are not a photographer and you are missing this opportunity to hang on your walls this gorgeous and awesome sunset on the beach that you have seen during your summer holidays, go to Toolscape Keepers, start to write your assignments, and you will be sure that there are awesome landscape photographers that will answer you. Toolscape Keepers, where landscape dreams become reality. And the way that Sony had crippled the functionalities of its lenses on the current E-mount body line makes so that it wasn't interesting to migrate to the system from A. But things are changing. Yes, things are changing here because with LA-EA5, as Sony has explained it, as soon as you use one of the latest E-mount bodies, knowing the A7R IV or the APS-C A6600, so with these cameras you will get the functionalities of your E-mount body, okay, plus 11 frames per second with continuous autofocus on this type of lenses. So for me, it's a great, it's a huge improvement. It's a huge improvement. What I like about the idea of being able now to use the AF system from E-mount is that because the AF system on A-mount is lagging because there is not much of firmware update, you know. For example, on the flagship A99ii, we got the 399 on sensor phase detector focus. Yes, we got a dedicated phase detector focus of 79 points. So it means that we got 79 points that are cross points. That is awesome. But the tracking performance lags behind E-mount last system, the A7R Mark III. I don't know about this one, but for sure the A9 and A7R Mark IV. There is no automatic IAF tracking, you know, especially for video or in photo. In photo, we got the continuous IAF, but we have to push the button to say that we want IAF. It's not automatic like now on E-mount that automatically will track the eye. So this type of improvements is great. On E-mount now there is animal AF. It's crazy. Sounds crazy, said like that. And yeah, I have to say that it's very a plus to be able to use this feature. And now that we know that it's able to do that with the legacy A-mount Minolta AF lenses, that's just awesome. So until now, what we were able to do is to use this type of lenses that are some, or this one is a 85 2.8, but so this one is a full frame lens. So this one will work on it's working on E-mount body. Actually, it's working with the LA-EA3. But if we wanted 10 frames per second, and I said 10, not 11 or 12, we would need an A9 body. Okay. So personally, I find this awkward. It has been discussed a lot when the A7 Mark III was released, that nobody would understand why we didn't have 10 frames per second with SAM or SSM lenses. But well, I won't go back in this debate. I will just say that finally we have a solution to transition from A-mount to E-mount system, a solution that is a route that we have to take and we can take. I have said many times, and it's remaining true, it's always true, I love the form factor of the A-mount bodies, okay? What we have on the market nowadays that resembles a lot to this, because it's not fully a DSLR, you know, it's not as big as a DSLR, it's almost as a DSLR, but as it doesn't have the pentaprism, it's not a DSLR neither. So it's not as huge as it is, but it has all the functionalities we want. It has all the buttons everywhere, even on the grip, vertical grip. And for people like me that have pretty much huge hand, you know? So everything is falling where you want, so that's cool. So that is the only reason why for the moment I haven't really dived into the E-mount system, is because for me the bodies are too shrunk, and I have always loved, because I have done hands-on of the USR, I have loved the USR for this very reason. So I was wondering myself if I would go one day mirrorless via the Canon star system, because the glasses are awesome, and the form factor for me is just perfect. So I have to say that when you work, when you are on something, you know, that takes time and so on, you like to be comfy, you don't want to pain wherever for any reasons, you know, that's weird. But that's cool. So what I'm excited about is that now we have a path to go with E-mount system on E-mount bodies. So this is starting with A7R Mark IV, that is a 61 megapixel sensor. This one is the A99ii Mark II with the 42 megapixel sensor from Sony. And when it was released, already we were saying or said that the AF minolta lenses wouldn't cope with the 42 megapixel sensor. Well, I have a bunch of these lenses. Here is the 70-210 f4, and I have used it a lot on my 42 megapixel sensor, and I have to say that it's just awesome. the results are crazy. This is great. This is insane. This is crisp. This is sharp. This is it's wonderful. It's perfect. This one is the same. The 135 2.8. I love this lens because it's very compact, as you can see, for 175. And yeah, I like it very much. The design of the minolta lenses is particular because most of them, they are like with a body of metal. That's very vintage, you know. You don't find this much nowadays. For example, this thing is the new version of an 85 from Sony with the sun. It looks like a kit lens, sort of a kit lens, but it's a full frame lens. And yeah, it is an 85 2.8. It's all plasticky. Well, it's working. I mean, it's doing the job. When you use that and when you use that, it's not the same. The only real problem that we have with the minolta legacy AF lenses, that those ones that are able to cope with the 42 megapixel, and I will be sure that there will be no problem with the 61 megapixel sensor of the A7R Mark IV. Well, you have to take care of chromatic aberration, of course, because these things are a lot. If not a lot, they are very visible. The purple fringe and the green fringe. So yeah, you have to take care of this in post-production because depending on the way you are shooting, you know, as soon as you don't use too much of different contrast, it won't be so much visible. But anything that is visible from the sky, if you have the sky and the statue that is totally visible in the sky, all around your statue you will see the purple fringe, and that is the type of thing you have. So when you keep that in mind, you know the drawbacks of your gear. So you try not to take this kind of shoot with this type of lenses, and you use these lenses in the right way. And I have used it a lot in the right way, and I have to say that for me they are awesome. I have other lenses like the ultra wide angle lens 1735. I have to say that this one is true that is not able to cope with the 42 megapixel sensor already. It's not resolving correctly the thing. So I know that it won't be working on the 61 megapixel. I have replaced this lens mostly by the new Tamron 15-32.8, so I'm not very annoyed by this thing, but I know that it has to be really taken into account. It exists lenses that won't be able to cope with the 61 megapixel sensor. That's a fact. We cannot say the contrary. Going back to wildlife, there is something I think that is a curiosity here. So for wildlife, of course, in Minolta, in the Minolta lens range, you will find the 600f4. There is currently an lens on internet I found for one of these at €2,000 for the 600f4. So the same, you have the purple fringing, but except of this, that's a good deal, no? And yeah, some of the previous A-mount users that had lots of bunch of A-mount lenses, I mean the ones that are expensive, they have sold their stuff to go to E-mount, right? And some of them had the 500f4, for example. The 500f4 for being A-mount or E-mount, I guess is the same now. This type of lens you have to order to Sony and they will build and engineer it, okay? So it means that you cannot go to the shop and buy this thing. You have to order it. And that is very, very expensive. We are talking about something like more than 11,000, you know, US dollar, or probably 12 or 13,000, I don't know. And I had seen one for sale, a 500 of Sony, a 500f4 for €6,000. So the owner wanted to get rid of it because he's on E-mount now, so he doesn't care much about A-mount. And yeah, so he has sold that. That was brand new for €6,000. That is, you know, and the loss is steep. I mean, he has lost a lot of money in this operation, of course. So I find it a bit unfair that Sony wouldn't have announced this type of the fact that they were working on such a project before for those sellers, but it's a good thing for the buyer. Now, what is for sure is that knowing that these lenses, they will work perfectly with LA-EA5 and the new E-mount bodies, you can be sure that the prices of these lenses will go up again. So take it in mind. It's not possible that it's going at the same price as E-mount stuff, because it makes no sense to buy the A-mount version if you can have the E-mount version of the lens, okay? For me, it doesn't make any sense. But logically, on the second hand, the prices will raise a bit. So bringing back to this curiosity here. So this is a 500f8 for the A-mount Minolta system or Sony A-mount system, and this is a reflex AF with mirror. Okay, that is a Sony or Minolta, call it as you want, AF500 reflex, and it is with a mirror, and it is autofocus. It has the autofocus. This thing is an AF lens. The thing is that on the A-mount system, that is an f8, okay? I think it's the only f8 with mirror that is AF. And Sony has, or Minolta has succeeded to give that with autofocus on the A-mount bodies. How? Well, simply put, you only have the center AF point that is able to AF. So you have to track on the center AF point at f8 on the A-mount bodies. The thing is that, so you can shoot at 12 FPS with this thing, no problem. But where I want to go here is that this limitation of the AF system at f8 on the A-mount system is not existing on the E-mount system. On the E-mount system, if I remember correctly, if I recall correctly, but you can comment below and tell me if I'm wrong. I think that is f11. So logically, it would be possible to use this thing with more than the center point, okay, on the E-mount body at f8. If it is the case, oh my god, that would just revive this thing. This thing would revive instantly. That's awesome. And I don't know. I mean, I'm dreaming. Probably I'm letting myself, you know, then going everywhere. But this imagination. But I want to I love the idea that it's possible. Okay, I love the idea, so that is why. So this is it, guys. We have a new path to go to E-mount, and Sony has made it. But I want to add something here. I find Akward the timing. I mean, I'm not the only one. It's not me who is really talking here. We are, I mean, the A-mount community, we are talking about it a lot. The timing of the announcement is Akward in the sense that, how to say that? There is this project of a team of nerds in China that were working on the LA-EA4 to transform it like LA-EA5 in a way. 1 month ago they have already tested all of this. They have got rid of the mirror in LA-EA4 and they have put Minolta lens, and they were able to have AF. So they have been working on this project called the LA-EA4R. And the idea was to send them back your LA-EA4 and they would modify it so that you would be able to use your Minolta AF lenses and whatever the A-mount lenses. And by doing so, they have also shown to the world and shown to Sony that what they were saying that it wasn't possible to use the Minolta AF lenses with on-sensor phase-detect autofocus is not true. And since then, it's a bit awkward not to say that Sony has been pushed to release this ring adapter. On the other hand, I would say that the fact that only A7R Mark IV and A6600 bodies for E-mount are able to use the capabilities of the LA-EA5 would show also that this possibility to use the A-mount legacy lenses from Minolta, probably it's something very new. Anyway, we have the adapter now. And we know that we are able to get an A-mount body using this new LA-EA5 with the newer E-mount bodies in the combination. So I would say that it's a good start. For me, it's not really what I call an A-mount system, but for real, being able to shoot at 11 FPS, 11 frames per second with the Minolta A-mount lenses, something that is able to do 12 frames per second on A-mount body, it's huge compared to what we had before, namely LA-EA3 and A9 at 10 frames per second. So the only thing remaining is that we now know that Sony will kill the A9X, you can call it as you want, for A-mount, okay, the flagship, full frame flagship for Sony. Well, that's a shame because in my point of view, I would say that, you know, the layout, the way that you handle it, everything is falling where you want. You have your LCD screen, you have, no, for real, the layout, the design for me is better than on E-mount. Moreover, you have all your buttons here on the grip. You can do whatever you want with the grip too, and that is lacking this on E-mount. But we are talking about the future here. I'm putting a big but here. I'm talking about the future. Killing this line of A9X for A-mount would also mean that, I don't know how to say that. Probably it will revive through the E-mount, okay? How? Well, in my opinion, it is possible that E-mount bodies become, you know, like two form factors, meaning a bigger form factor like this one, or sort of, for the A9 series, for example, and a standard one for the A7 series. So in a way, it would give the A9 body that is more, for me, professional, more serious, more with a better layout, okay? And for the A7, it can stay as it is. There is no reason. So I'm waiting to see that in the future. I would like also to see that it's possible to have the, you know, the tilting screen that is going everywhere. I don't know if it will be possible. We will see that too. But yeah, at the moment, we already have sort of a path to go to E-mount, and actually, it's a hunch that we can say that now it is a way that Sony has decided to kill the A-mount line, okay? And we will see what it is. I think that I will take an E-mount body, not the A7R Mark IV, but something more in the A9, in this type of shape and layout, if it exists in the future, and keeping this as a back-end body that makes all the sense in the world. Let's see what we have. So guys, that's it for my review of the preview, not review, sorry, my 2 cents on the LA-EA5. Well, what will I do after is that, because I understand that now the A-mount lenses will start to be like reborn, and yeah, I will try to make some reviews of my of the lenses to show you what are the goods of these lenses and their cons, okay, and how they perform, what you can get out of them. And we'll see that it's pretty cool. So thank you for watching, guys, and see you soon.